So when I look at the future I want my kids to live in, it's not the road we're going down now. Every time we go through an economic correction or recession, whatever you want to call it, you just see this kind of middle class globally getting hollowed out. You have working class that's like barely making rent, and then you have this wealth where it's like Bugattis and trips to Dubai, and it's just a completely different thing. And it's starting to look really hopeless if you're at the bottom looking up. And it's also starting to look hopeless if you're at the top looking down. Because like the rich people don't want to just give away money, and the poor people don't have a great path to getting there. The change that I want to see happen in the world is basically building that ladder to get people back up into those meaningful middle class jobs, those careers where you can like make enough money to spend time with your family. Make enough money to make the things that you actually want to do possible. Being able to go work a normal job and make enough money to buy a house, have a car, have kids, take them on adventures. That's what needs to happen. By kind of showcasing that this is possible with GoFast, we can kind of shed a light on this whole little niche segment that we're doing and say, hey, look, try this. It's kind of like the light on the hill. We've had to have integrity and transparency and accountability be a pillar of our business because we effectively crowdfunded the company. So being able to build the company off of that kind of pillar is like, hey, here's what we're working on. We're being good stewards of your money, and we're being good stewards of our employees' time. After graduating college from engineering, I went to go work on offshore oil rigs. It was the most interesting job I could find at a career fair. Kind of got hopeless after working in that industry. It was a little bit tough, and there wasn't a whole lot of future. And learned there pretty early on that the only way to like truly affect change in the world is by making it economically viable to do so. A friend of mine was building these big off-road campers, kind of got sucked into that world, started building these big campers. During that process, we realized there was a real hole in the market for something that was like relatively affordable and really high quality, so something that wouldn't end up in the landfill. And we started GoFast campers under that concept and really started building everything in-house from scratch. We started on an online forum and effectively just announced the product and started taking deposits on product, and then committed to a timeline to build it, and proceeded to miss that timeline drastically. Like really bad. Through that process, we just told everybody what was going on the whole time, and we did our best to kind of like make sure that we're in the shop working, but also keeping everyone online up to date with what's going on. We were so bad at delivering on time early on, like 6 months to a year late on product, which was not ideal. The price point was great for the customer, but that was like the only good part of the experience. We actually ended up buying a truck and a trailer and delivering product around the country to people's houses. And I overdrafted my debit account like $30,000 paying for gas as I went, and just sleeping in the backseat of this truck and just delivering campers and basically shaking hands and apologizing. Taking showers at people's houses if it was hot out, because I was just sleeping in the car. So I'd be out in the field installing all day and just sweating like in Phoenix to 105, like, yo, is it cool if I take a shower at your house? From an early age, it got encoded in me that when you're on a vehicle, you kind of have to go into full kill mode. My grandpa's kind of the definition of the American dream. Dropped out of high school, got into fights, grew up without a father figure, and he made his career out of building, owning, and running car dealerships. He had 7 car dealerships in Southern California. With the proceeds, he and his buddies would go down to Baja and blow off steam. And pretty much started racing to kind of get out of that headspace of like heavy-duty work environment.
Team McPherson has an unmatched history, unprecedented win record, and an engineering legacy that benefits every car and truck owner.
He and my dad went down to Baja to start racing.
Meanwhile, out on the course, Jeff McPherson in 7:53 appears on his way to a win.
And he pretty much helped build the culture that turned into full-on factory race teams. I mean, going fast, that really is definitely genetic. And kind of got addicted to that off-road. It's just game on. My dad raced cars for a long time, then moved up to Montana with the whole family when I was like 13. We kind of got pulled out of that culture. So what's been neat is we built Go Fast without any of those connections. And I'd go down there and I'd hear stories from people that were in the industry about my grandpa. These wild stories, crashing airplanes in San Felipe, just like getting wild down south. This is actually where we started the business, just this one space alone. Everything out of this little 3,000 square foot space. That's since swapped out to about 30,000 square feet. So the reason our product's actually able to go fast is because we have a structural backbone of our product called the space frame that is pretty much an internal roll cage that transmits all of the loading from outside, from all the vehicle loads, from hitting stuff, from going through corners, and brings that load down through that space frame. It's all triangulated and brought down to the truck bed. So this is the camper cart right here. This represents the tube set for one camper build. So this is really the backbone, the space frame of our product that really gives it its strength and rigidity. And that's a unique thing in our design. Our product is built to hold up to abuse that most people don't put their trucks through. But we love hauling ass and beating our stuff off-road. From a strength, durability, and toughness standpoint, this is what lets us stand out from the rest. It's optimized for the lifestyle that we want to create and live. So we had a pretty long runway because it was a really innovative product at the time before Asia started catching up to us and really competing. Once that happened, we kind of realized that we needed to make sure that we were going to be globally competitive on pricing. Getting loans early on at the startup phase of the business is really challenging. We actually started using PayPal loans, buying one piece of equipment at a time until we have a full-blown machine shop like this with like over 8 CNC machines in the business. No matter what we make here, if nobody can buy it or there's a better product that's made somewhere else for less money, that won't work. Well, these big machines machine all the extrusions, the big beams, and then all these little guys over here are fully automated setups to build all the billet parts that go into the camper. Billet is all the things that are machined from like a solid chunk of aluminum. So this is one of the roof rack crossbar end pieces. You don't see this quality of product outside of like the gun market, maybe like a race car, motorcycle. And what allows us to make parts that are this nice on a product that sells a really reasonable retail price point is automation tools. So Mike over here is currently running 4 different machines at one time by basically tending to all of these robots. These robots are loading and unloading the machine, and in most machine shop environments, you'd see one guy per each machine. So when you have one guy running 4, you can spread that efficiency across the entire organization and actually pay people better. What's really interesting about these machines is they can also run lights out. So being able to run these machines at night, nobody around, is what that means. So this will just dump all these parts right here into this bucket. Just super, super simple. We build a product specifically for your truck. And being able to really specifically tailor that product to that customer, to that person's truck, drives actual value for that user.
You drop? Good boy. I've always thought of it more as I kind of figured out that I was an engineer rather than necessarily deciding to be one. Attaboy. I went to Cornell University in upstate New York. I've always liked figuring out how things work, designing things, making new things, and tinkering with things. So, and I like math. So drew me to engineering. I wouldn't say there really is a typical day, which is one of the most fun, dynamic parts of the job. One thing that separates Go Fast from other camper companies is our efficient design process. We have a templatized design process, which allows us to really efficiently roll through new model designs. That new model could be for a brand new truck, for example, the 2024 Tacoma. It could also be for an old truck that we don't support yet. So it could be for a 1987 pickup. And we'll take some measurements and photos of the truck. I'll also 3D scan the truck. And then we'll fine tune the design to make sure it fits and looks as good as every Go Fast camper should.
Everything that we build is purpose-built for that end user in what we call a low-volume, high-mix environment. So we don't even batch campers. So the guys and gals here in Small Parts actually go through and pull all the parts off the shelf to build one camper's worth of inventory. And all these parts are getting made to end up on this cart. If there's a problem, we can make a rolling design change.
Or just go back to the design space, maybe.
Pass-throughs for the switch on the buttons and the bed rails.
Nice.
And what that allows us to do is have zero dead stock. So everything in this whole building is here for about a week. And you're not, as a customer, gonna be paying for all of this surplus inventory or storage fees, or us having to sell through product until the next generation comes out.
We added some functionality to them, like on the back. These are now threaded to receive another billet piece on the back for our new latches.
Really focusing on you, the consumer, and setting you up for success with the most dialed product you can possibly get. And that's really hard to do with Asian goods.
People roll into our install bay with really cool trucks modded out like this one. We got diode dynamic lights all through the bumper and up top here. Badass company, American made. We got deck drawers in this truck in particular. Really nice. You throw the camper on top and you have your whole ecosystem living on the back of your truck. It's something that you can rip in Baja for months. We have people that live full time out of these. We really like to see USA sourced materials. We like to represent that capable kind of American made manufacturing and bring it back.
You can create this brand that's made in USA. You can build your brand tenants and the vibe on made in USA. But at the end of the day, if the product falls short, your brand's only gonna carry you so far. There seems to be this confusion around American manufacturing where it's like hard work, like let's go do labor, let's go sweat, let's have blue collar manufacturing jobs, and let's bring that back. What people miss is that America has always been around ingenuity. It's always been this environment of freedom that allows people to come up with interesting new ideas to make things better. So we do all the sewing, we do pretty much every process in-house, but sewing and fabric is kind of one of the most interesting ones because it's one of the areas where our country is least proficient. And we're not looking just to make things here for the sake of making them here, we're looking to make meaningful jobs that make real value. We have a bunch of really skilled craftspeople that also use a lot of automated equipment in the fabric area to kind of multiply their efficacy.
I started out running a sewing machine when I was in 7th grade. I got a job working in an auto interior shop making custom interiors. Then I ran my own shop for about 20 years.
Big rack of material you're seeing right there gets rolled through and just laser cut. Basically cuts all the patterns.
This is some of the best state-of-the-art canvas stuff going on.
And from there, everything gets either sewn or heat welded, almost more constructed like a rack. Everything's going on a car so we can make it really, really burly. I think there's a preconceived notion when it comes to making stuff in the States that we can turn on all this old infrastructure that we use before we offshored everything. There's a reason that those jobs left and went overseas, and it was cost. The next phase of our picture of American manufacturing isn't just gonna be hard work, it's gonna be ingenuity. When you look down the line, you can see all those hits. It's like all those like little hit points. This little rivet gun right here built the first 4,000 campers here at Go Fast, and I was responsible for probably about the first quarter of them at least. This job is day in, day out, bucking rivets 10 hours a day. And it's loud, it's hard, there's a lot of vibration, a lot of joint pain, a lot of fatigue that comes out of this. I've been there. Would you rather do this for 15 bucks an hour, which is the market value for this job, or oversee this robot that'll get that job done in 40 minutes versus 10 hours.
I started out building the V1 campers, and I just stuck with through college. I was part-time and moved into building the V2s and helping implement how we build them and the process we'd use to build them. Then graduated and got my engineering degree, and now I'm doing a lot of the engineering.
How do we build back American manufacturing? How do we create things of real and tangible value? Because at the end of the day, there's 3 ways to create value. You can mine it, you can farm it, and you can manufacture it. And effectively, the value drives power. And the problem is that that value is being consolidated into countries and governments. And the more consolidation there is of that power, we're going to end up with leadership that doesn't represent the individuals. And we're going to end up with this really upside-down economy, and we're already seeing the ramifications of that. In order to kind of break out of that path towards global war and caste systems, we need to get more people making more stuff, bringing more value, and getting representation. And that's a much bigger picture of what I want to see in the world, right?
Going to work and seeing people building the campers and having a connection to the thing that they're building by hand every day is incredibly fulfilling.
When you don't have a clear picture of how things get made now versus how they got made in the 70s and maybe the 80s, you don't really know how to be competitive at the global level. Building the tent in the back over there, these will go together. Using these automation tools is the key to the future of American manufacturing. After the tent gets installed on that, side panels go on. We do just about everything in-house. And this is a really fast process. Basically goes into final assembly. It's about 3-4 days by the time we actually start manufacturing the product when it's actually completed. Right around the corner here is actually where we started Go Fast. And I remember spending one cold Montana winter in here, prototyping a bunch of parts and putting together the first concept. So it's this shop over here with the open rolled up door. It's pretty cool to see. It's been a long time since I've been here, but it's a tiny little space. It's probably only 1,000 square feet of shop space. So now we're pulling up to my dad's old shop where the race truck that my grandpa built and my dad raced with him is being stored. My grandpa was a businessman, so he was around when I was little, but it wasn't like a traditional like grandfather-grandson relationship. Because he worked until he died at work. I think that same spirit of adventure and that pioneering, that's what we're trying to do in order to make a future for our kids. When I look back at my grandpa's life, I think it kind of showed me this is what's possible. And I also saw the sacrifices that it took to get there. So as opposed to saying, hey, we're gonna sell some campers locally, it'll be neat to see some around Montana, it's like, hey, no, this could be global. There's no reason we can't go all over the world. Yeah, so we were able to secure 42 acres of land in Manhattan, Montana, the Little Apple. Kind of a complete development center that's gonna allow for us to help other manufacturing businesses that wanna make stuff here in America exist, and also be the future home of a 50,000 square foot shop for us. I don't think anybody should work as much as he did. He really busted ass. But I do think that it's gonna take hard work to build back the American middle class. There's a quality of life that can be met as long as we really focus on efficiency and kind of working smart. Doing hard, challenging things is really important, but also making sure that you're there for your family is equally as important, and there for your community as well. Kind of figuring out how to draw that line between building something that's big and successful and works well, but also creating something that is meaningful and important. Ideal situation is that people see what's possible to Go Fast and see, hey, I could do that for women's apparel. I could do that for the cycling industry. I could do that for food. Really anything. And take that and use it to make a ton of money. Taking new approaches to old problems is what makes America great, makes America interesting, and will continue to make America amazing. I could not be more thankful to grow up in that environment where we get to see those examples every day of people that think differently and take on those hopes and dreams. And I think that's America's #1 export is ingenuity. And we need to start backing that up a little bit with manufacturing.